This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
OPEC Plus ministers from 8 nations that are gradually raising oil output will meet online on Thursday and are likely to approve a further hike in production from May. Sources from the producer group told Reuters. 8 members of OPEC Plus, a group that includes the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies led by Russia, are scheduled to raise oil output by 135,000 barrels per day in May. That would be the second monthly increase under a plan to unwind some of the millions of barrels per day of cuts the group has had in place since 2022.
Russia has ordered the Black Sea terminal handling Kazakhstan's oil exports pumped by U.S. majors Chevron and ExxonMobil to close 2 of its 3 moorings amid a standoff between Kazakhstan and OPEC Plus over excess production. The operator of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium, CPC, which exports around 1% of global oil supply via the Russian terminal, said late on Monday that the 2 moorings were halted following snap inspections by Russia's transport watchdog. The stoppage could more than halve CPC exports if it lasts for longer than a week, trading sources told Reuters.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Europe may need up to an extra 250 cargoes of liquefied natural gas this year, costing at least $11 billion to refill its depleted gas stores ahead of winter, with Ukraine requiring at least another 30 cargoes, according to analysts and data. Demand during winter 2024-25 was higher than the year before due to colder and less windy weather, resulting in more withdrawals from European Union stores, which are now just under 34% full, the lowest since 2022. Based on current European Commission targets, set to help prevent supply shortages following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, gas storage sites across the EU must be 90% full again by November 1st.
A U.S. oil and biofuel coalition met with the Environmental Protection Agency on Tuesday to make the case for higher federal mandates for biomass diesel blending, according to 3 sources familiar with the plans. The EPA meeting signals that the agency may be closer to releasing fresh biofuel blending quotas for the Renewable Fuel Standard, RFS, a first test of U.S. President Donald Trump's promised support of the biofuel industry. The proposal is expected to cover 2 years' worth of mandates, 2 sources familiar with the matter told Reuters. The EPA could release the proposal as early as this month, sources said. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Iron ore futures strengthened on Wednesday, underpinned by resilient seasonal demand for the key steelmaking ingredient that countered trade war concerns ahead of looming U.S. tariffs. The most traded May iron ore contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange gained 1.15% to 792 yuan, $108.95, a metric ton as of 0257 GMT. The benchmark May iron ore on the Singapore Exchange eased 0.09% to $102.80 a ton. Steel production is increasing overall, rising higher than last year, said broker Galaxy Futures.
Copper prices in London rose on Wednesday, but gains were capped as investors cautiously awaited details of reciprocal tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump expected later in the day. The benchmark 3-month copper on the London Metal Exchange, LME, rose 0.5% to $9,736 per metric ton, as of 0336 GMT. Trump said on Sunday his reciprocal tariffs will apply to all nations. He is expected to announce the levies at 2000 GMT.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Euronext wheat rose for a 3rd session on Tuesday, tracking strength in Chicago while European traders assessed chances for new export demand. May wheat BL2K5, the most active position on the Paris-based Euronext, settled 0.6% up at €221.50, $239.11, a metric ton. The contract earlier reached a 1-week high at €222.75 as it recovered further from Friday's 1-year low of €215.00.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets.
Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.